Hey guys, Rob, Sigma 3 Survival School. Today we're out doing the intensive instructor course, and in this course we get a little bit more, we get a lot more in depth with our survival shelter building. It's several days, and we just finished up several variations of debris huts, and now we're moving on to a double lean-to. And now this is a really big version of a Arctic lean-to. This is a camp shelter, so keep that in mind, but we're going to rebuild this right now and show you what an Arctic double lean-to, how it's constructed, how to build proper bedding in it. We're going to condense the size of this down much smaller so that it's easier to heat. All right, so I want to make something clear about this shelter. The first time we did a double lean-to, we had some questions. This is not a wet weather shelter. This will not keep you dry in wet weather. This is for snow. Plain and simple. You would not want to have this if it was going to rain. This is... Tracker! Tracker's trying to get in the jerky. He's a little jerky thief. Anyways, so like I said, this isn't going to keep you dry in a thunderstorm. This is for when temps are they're under 32 degrees all the time. You've got lots of snow, things like that, and the snow will actually pack up on the lean-to and actually act as an insulator for you. So first you want to strap a couple of headers to a couple of trees, and you want them spaced out to where you've got enough room inside your shelter. Another way to do that is to make two bipods and then just have like a connecting rod all the way across, but the tree method is so much better. I wouldn't go with the other method. This is the way to go. After you do that, then you want to start building out your bed. And for my two cross beams up here, I have a couple of Y sticks, and basically what this is for is so that I can build some smoke racks. I've got an area to hang my socks and dry my wool and things like that during the night. So then you want to build your beds, and all you need, and this is the same as in the wiki up, you just need a couple of fat logs. You don't need anything this big. This is just really nice because this is a permanent structure for us. You put two of those over here, you make a bed platform, you put your stakes in, and you add a couple of things, and then basically we're going to fill this in with cedar boughs and leaves to make it comfortable. Now the point of building this bed, and it's something that I've learned over doing lots of cold weather trips, that's really when I like to get out, is I like to have my bed raised up quite a bit higher than the fire, because the problem is if you sleep right next to a fire, let's just say you're completely parallel with it, or you're just right beside it laying on the ground, you only get a small percentage of the radiant heat that comes off of that. So by lifting myself up off the ground and having a bed like this, the heat is not only going to filter up under my bed, but it's also going to hit me more. And this is really the best way to build your bed for a really cold condition. You don't want to sleep on the ground, especially if you're in an area that's got permafrost or something crazy like that, because conduction is really going to suck the heat out of you. Alright guys, so just want to give you an update on the progress so far. Basically what we've done is stack these up. Now, we can't show you the full shelter because this really isn't an alpine area. We've got a ton of hardwood around here, and this is a permanent camp shelter. So we have issues with wet weather, but I have to have an example of every type of shelter here on the property so that people can see how they work. So this is a northern shelter. This is something you're going to use in conifer forests in the north, in Canada, Alaska, Rocky Mountains, places like that. So if we didn't have our tarp, all I would do is stack these as closely as I possibly could all the way across at the steepest angle that I can, and still be able to get my header up above my head and be able to wrap it. So like I said, when you're building this up in the forest, 3 to 4 inches between each one, or you can stack them one right after the other, and then you throw pine boughs or whatever you have on it, and it'll basically catch the snow. And as long as your fire isn't too close to your rooftop, and your pitch is correct, then you won't have any issues with leaking whatsoever. So same concept as having the tarp, but honestly, if you are building a shelter like this is a little bit more long-term bushcraft style shelter. This is something that, especially if you were doing let's say snowmobiling, or you you know, like a dog sled or something like that, where you can carry some more equipment, you can make this style of shelter a shit ton more comfortable if you you know, have some way to carry some tarps around with you. We're still going to cover this with debris, just like we you know, had it looking before. But with the tarps up, now it's not only a winter shelter, but it's also a wet weather, you know, thunderstorm shelter. All right, so this is the back side of the shelter that, you know, I was just sitting in the bed, and this is the tarp section. And you don't have to have a big tarp, guys. Let's just say you had just nothing more than your poncho. You can build one of these and slap your poncho right over your bed area or your Basha tarp, and it will keep you dry. You know, I can't tell people, say it enough, that you have to have a certain amount of tools. I mean, you can do everything abo out here, but the problem with, you know, that is you have to reconstruct something primitive every time you need it, especially if you're on the move, and that can take forever. So having things like a knife, a little bit of cordage, a poncho, and a container, and you can really live like a king. So inside the shelter, we've got a bed on both sides posted up, and right in the middle is where we want to put our fireplace. And this is basically a fireplace that we can run longer lengths of wood. You know, anytime you can keep from cutting your firewood and saving those calories is something that you want to do. So we leave one side of it open, block off the back side, and you can basically build a body length all night fire in here. And we've got a video on that. Go check that out on our Firecraft playlist. But basically you've got basically a long rectangle, square pyramid. You build 2 teepee fires on both ends, and it'll burn the whole length of your body all night long. So that's a really, really good technique to know, especially for you know, cold weather, northern climates. So here's the finished product, guys. It's pretty simple. Now, we didn't build it out as elaborate as I would like. We just only have so many hours a day to work on this thing, but this is perfect for our area. Now, if I was in negative 20 degrees, what I would do is I would close off the ends and maybe even create a doorway. That takes a lot more time. But basically all you do, if you want to close this wall off, is tie a couple of, you'd want this main stick to be thicker so that you had more room, and basically tie a stick on both sides of this, and the same thing on the opposite side, and then do the same thing at the bottom, and then just cut sticks to length to literally just jam right up in there, and it'll act like a fence row, and you can basically you know, create a wall. And if you really want to make it you know, windproof, you can pack the gaps full of mud, or you can do like a double wall and then fill it with debris. There's just a lot of different ways you can set this up. You know, with the posts in the middle, you can make a smoke rack. You know, definitely close off the back side. Have an area with a vestibule up here in the front. And I'll tell you, probably the best guy in the country to learn these skills from, to push, you know, talk about Maine Primitive Skills School. If you want to learn Arctic winter survival skills, Mike from Maine Primitive Skills is the best in the country at that stuff. You know, and he loves these types of shelters. In fact, I think he's actually got a video on his YouTube channel where they build something similar to this that's much longer, because you can build these as long as you want in order to have more and more people in. And he's got one end completely closed off, and I think half of another side. So make sure you check out Mike's channel. And as always, we appreciate your commentary, but we prefer now that you post that over to our survival forum. And thanks for sharing, liking, and subscribing. Sigma 3 out.